Hi, this is Dr. Victoria Nalule. Today I've recorded many YouTube videos, not so many. I think I've recorded, this is the fourth one. The first one I was talking about the issue of the different types of books, edited books, and also monographs. And then the second one, I talked about gender and mining. And then the third one, I was talking about how you can build your personal brand. In this video, I want to focus on the issue of decarbonization, specifically highlighting the opportunities and challenges in different countries. So this webinar is inspired first by my book chapter 1 of my book, focused on energy progression, where we talk about energy transition, sustainable decarbonization, and also chapter 16, where I was the lead author for a chapter in this book, which is chapter 16, talking about decarbonization in Southern African countries, which I co-authored with Smith as bookies. So these two books have inspired this video specifically because I contributed chapters. I edited this book and contributed chapter 1, and then this one I contributed chapter 16, which was co-authored. So it's going to be a short video, basically, just for people who are interested in decarbonization, for them to have a clear picture of what we're talking about, what are the challenges and what are the opportunities. So I'll share a few slides with you. So what do we mean by decarbonization? In summary, when we're talking about decarbonization, we want to reduce carbon emissions. That is the main aim of decarbonization, reduction of carbon. And also we want to move to a low carbon economy. That's why when we're talking about decarbonization in the energy sector, it's very important because of the reliance on fossil fuels that are actually attributed to climate change impacts. So in summary, with decarbonization, we want to reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about decarbonization. And in this respect, here I highlight that the main aim of decarbonization is to have an economy based on low carbon power sources that therefore has a minimal output of greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere, specifically carbon dioxide. So this is the main aim of decarbonization. And with decarbonization, I want to focus on the energy sector, the different initiatives that have taken place. So I'll start with the opportunities. The opportunities that are presented with respect to the move to a low carbon economy. First is the jobs, because many people are getting employed in different projects in different companies that are focused on renewable energy and other energy efficiency technologies that are aiming at decarbonization. So job creation has been experienced in different countries, be it developed or developing countries. Then the second opportunity, which we cannot underestimate, is the issue of tackling the climate change. Because we know with the 2015 Paris Agreement, we are all concerned about tackling climate change. So decarbonization presents us that opportunity to actually tackle climate change, but at the same time, presenting investment opportunities, job opportunities, and also escalating the economic development of different countries that are actually embracing decarbonization. So in the energy sector, we have seen lots of investments in renewable energy and energy efficiency technologies. We have seen investments in electric vehicles in the EU, the instances of smart meters. So there are a lot of initiatives with respect to decarbonization, and every initiative definitely presents an opportunity. So in the transport sector, like I mentioned, many countries are embracing electric vehicles. So that is a job opportunity itself, investment opportunity for the companies that are involved in the manufacturing of these electric vehicles. And in the EU, there are very many examples of how many countries are embracing electric vehicles, and there are also some small examples in developing countries like Africa. So I'll just give an example here. For African countries, we have seen that electric vehicles have made their way on the African countries, as evidenced in countries such as South Africa and Kenya, Madagascar, and also Zimbabwe. We have seen instances of electric vehicles, but obviously there are many challenges with respect to embracing electric vehicles, which I'll talk about later on. So what are the global issues, or what I would sum as what are the challenges we need to take into consideration when we're talking about decarbonization? First, we need to strike a balance between developed countries and developing countries when we're talking about decarbonization. And in striking this balance, some scholars have come up with different terms, ideologies like energy justice, a just transition to a low carbon economy. Myself, I've come up with the concept of energy progression, but we're all aiming to ensure that countries are not left behind when we're moving towards a low carbon economy or when we're focused on decarbonization. And one way of striking that balance is to ensure that there is a level playing field for countries, because in the countries in the global south, most of them are concerned about energy access challenges, where many people lack electricity, many people lack clean energy, and there is a need to strike that balance so that the move to decarbonize the global economy doesn't actually negatively impact on developing countries. So some of the challenges I would really want to focus on is the issue of lack of access to electricity in developing countries. That presents a huge challenge for all the decarbonization initiatives, because most countries now who still want to rely on fossil fuels, they would not entirely embrace decarbonization. They will embrace it, but the political will not be strong because they're more concerned about other issues, including the issue of energy poverty or energy access. And the other thing that really presents a challenge is the aspect of poverty generally in different developing countries. Most countries that are poor and they have the resources, they feel it's time for them to capitalize on these resources, to utilize the resources for their economic development. So that also presents a big challenge. And then the other challenge I talked about is the issue of community engagement. We have seen many strikes, even in the EU, in Germany. We have seen strikes in Ireland, where people actually are against wind power projects. So there's that aspect of community acceptance for all the different initiatives when it comes to decarbonization. So it's not only in developed countries like the EU that is, like we have seen many examples of local communities resisting wind power projects. In the UK, we have seen examples of local communities resisting solar power projects based on environmental issues that they always quote. So as with issues of fossil fuels, where we are seeing protests by different activists, even in respect to renewables or other decarbonization projects, we're seeing protests from local communities who are not comfortable sometimes of these different renewable energy projects, like the case in Germany, in Ireland, where we saw local communities protesting the establishment of wind power projects, and then the case in the UK, where we saw local communities protesting the establishment of some solar power projects. So there is a need to strike that balance. At the one hand, for developing countries, they need to tackle energy access. They need to ensure that their people are lifted from poverty. And then for the developed countries, on the other hand, they have to ensure that the local communities are actually comfortable with these projects. So those are the key main challenges with respect to decarbonization. This is going to be a very, very short video, but in this in this slide, I highlight one of the main influences of decarbonization or energy transitions, which is basically the need to tackle climate change. But I also note that the availability of energy resources, the country's energy strategy, and geography, including the social and economic situation, they play a huge role with respect to various decarbonization strategies that are going on. So this will just be a short video. I will not highlight everything, but as we're concluding, we have to take into consideration the realities of different communities, the practical realities of these people, be it in developed countries, like we've seen the people in Germany and Ireland who are concerned about the wind power projects in their countries, be it in developing countries. Like in this video, I was actually doing fieldwork research in some of the mining communities, quarrying communities. So we have to take into consideration the realities of all communities, realities of our people, in order to ensure that we have effective decarbonization strategies. So that's it about decarbonization. In summary, it presents opportunities, but we shouldn't ignore the challenges. We want to tackle climate change, but we have to make sure that everyone is included in this move of transitioning to a low carbon economy. Thank you. This marks the end of my short video on decarbonization.